brings a little backpack with him when he goes to record his vocals.
A lot of people's living rooms are like this, or bedrooms are like this.
You're maybe not so crafty and handy and haven't built acoustic panels before. There are ways to get around this. Hey friend, what you're about to see is a clip from a podcast with my good friend Andrew from Producing in the Box. It's all about recording vocals and getting your best vocal recordings from home. I'll see you inside. Everything starts upstream. So if you think of upstream, that's like the song, and then a little bit more downstream is the recording, but that's still pretty high upstream. And then later comes things like mixing and mastering, editing, stuff like that. But what most don't realize is that they try and skip all the way to editing or all the way to mixing and mastering without just getting the recording right. And so we're going to assume that the song is a good song, and now we're in the recording stage. We got to nail this, because if you don't nail this, it doesn't matter how much you do in editing or mixing and mastering, the results are just going to be a little bit underwhelming. And we don't want you to be disappointed. So let's dive in. Make sure you're getting the best vocal recordings of your life. What is the first kind of topic we want to cover on this, Andrew?
Yeah, so I really want to stress that we're talking about the recording, because if you are trying to skip all this stuff and go directly to the other things that Alex had just mentioned, you're gonna miss a lot. And vocals are one of the most important parts of music, because you are actually like relating to other people through the lyrics. Most of the time, people listen to the lyrics and to the vocals first. That's where most of their critiques come from, and this is where like the most, like, you can get away with a lot of stuff except for vocals. Vocals like kind of get really, really tricky really quick. So the first thing is getting a decent recording, which is getting a clean source or eliminating a lot of that room echo. Have you ever been in a room like a church or a hall or a gymnasium, and you can clap and you can hear that reverberation around the room, that echo?
Oh yeah.
A lot of people's living rooms are like this, or bedrooms are like this, at a smaller level, but it's still there. What happens is when you're singing, your voice is not just going to the microphone, but it's being projected throughout the room, and it's bouncing off the walls, and then that is going back into your microphone, and that's causing this echo effect or this reverb or delay that's happening in your vocals, and it becomes a problem when you try to add it to the song. So what are some ways that you like to eliminate this?
The echo is such a good way to put it, Andrew. And you can hear it in the vocal recording. The whole point is to get the vocal as dry as possible. Things like echo and reverb are good on vocals, but good when you add them later. You want your actual recording to be really dry, because it makes the ending results a lot better. And there are a few good ways to do this. And of course, there are different things to consider. So let's talk about maybe putting up some treatment in your room, acoustic treatment. But also a lot of the time, you may not be able to do it. You're maybe not so crafty and handy and haven't built acoustic panels before. Don't stress. Like, there are ways to get around this. A few different ways are you can get a vocal shield for your microphone, which just goes around your mic and reduces the amount of echo that's bouncing off the walls coming back into your microphone. But you can take it even another step further and dial in on which microphone you're using, right? So something like a dynamic microphone, we know there's a few different types of microphones, but the ones we'll focus on right now are dynamic and condenser. Condenser microphones are much more sensitive. So if you're in a room with a lot of echo, or you don't have treatment, and you put up a condenser microphone, yes, it's going to pick up a lot of that nice detail in your voice, but it's also going to be much more susceptible to the room around you. So in that case, you may want to choose a dynamic microphone, which, just like the microphones that I'm using right now and Andrew is recording right now using in this podcast, it's mainly only picking up what's directly in front of it. And it eliminates a lot of, or reduces a lot of that sound that could be bouncing around in the room. So choosing a mic choice, like possibly a dynamic mic, to get a cleaner recording in terms of the room echo coming in. Or you can also use a condenser mic, but be very careful about your surroundings. So like setting up either a vocal shield. Sometimes you can make a little makeshift vocal booth. I know that Andrew has done this, and I know
Yes.
that I used to do it a bunch. I would literally set up mic stands and hang moving blankets from them and make kind of a vocal booth thing to eliminate those reflections. And then if you want, you can take it one step further. And I actually know an artist that I've worked with a lot, and he gets great vocal recordings because in his area where he lives, there's a facility with little vocal booths that you can actually rent and go in. But they're not like recording studios where there's, a console and a computer and all this stuff. It's literally just a very, very quiet room that is acoustically treated, and without having a computer or a recording console or any type of interface or anything like that, he brings a little backpack with him when he goes to record his vocals. And what he does is he puts his laptop, he puts his interface, right? Like maybe it's a PreSonus interface or a Focusrite interface or whatever it is, keeping it really simple, brings along his mic, a mic cable, and his headphones. And he can go and then there's a little table in this really small room, and he sets up his laptop on the table and sets up his mic, puts on his headphones, plugs himself in. Within a couple of minutes, he's up and running, and just in this great sounding, totally professional vocal booth. So you can look around and see what type of options are like that near you. And if not, you can get really similar results by setting up the makeshift vocal booth with blankets, or maybe even trying in a closet and using the clothes around you, So you can get creative with it, but just eliminating that echo, that room echo. Think hard surfaces. If you see anything hard around you, hard drywall, that's going to have sound bouncing into the mic. So getting a really clean recording makes a massive, massive difference. My friend, if you found this helpful, you got to check out the full episode. It's a really good one. I'll put the link in the description for you, and otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.